She is bringing me to her passing. She's just going to quickly touch on this. She's bringing me up here. She's referencing to this. When they do this to me, this usually indicates brain or head. Or I don't feel particularly unhealthy, is the way that I would describe this. But she is acknowledging that something happened to her, like, quickly. I don't know what this is or how to even really describe this, but she's bringing me to head and referencing to everything changed after the head. I don't know if that makes any sense.
She had a stroke.
Okay.
And then she was in a coma.
Right. The next point that I want to make that we have to talk about is in the car right here, the same individual that was coming through was referencing to the fact that she did not want to be kept on life support and discussed that there was a situation about having to make a decision to let someone go.
I turned around because I had to make that decision.
She acknowledged that she knew and that it was okay that she was let go, that this was a decision that, like, needed to be made, and she was fine with that. She didn't want to be kept alive artificially.
That would be very important information for my mother, who had to make that decision.
Absolutely.
So.
Makes sense. She actually knew that her hand was being held, and though she wasn't conscious at the time, she's acknowledging, like, thank you, because you gave me my permission to pass. So that would be her way of acknowledging that, because she's like, I knew there was no getting out of this, and I'm okay. And there's that sense of relief. She loved her life. She was
a very joyful woman, and she, you know, was just an angel to all of us, and so, you know, her untimely passing was just a devastating moment in our family.
Sure, absolutely.
For a very long time.
That's good. All this is stuff that you needed. This is all stuff that nobody knew.
Your grandmother's referencing to a man that's coming through. He's a character. I like him. We're gonna bring him through. So usually men tend to die first before women. They're saying this was reversed. Is that true to your knowledge? Cool.
Like 29 years before.
Wow.
Yeah, like a while before.
Jeez. Okay. Because she's acknowledging that she was still around him as he went throughout his life.
Yeah.
They have a very funny kind of a situation the way it's coming across. She's giving him a hard time. She's joking about him moving on.
He did remarry.
Yes, and she's like, I know about this. This is fine. It's all good. But they are establishing a connection together.
Center together.
And then she's referencing to a red rose for whatever reason.
Oh, my God.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God.
My grandfather married a woman named Rose.
Oh, okay. So it's a symbol.
Yeah.
That would be it. Okay, cool. She's at peace with how that went, and I think, honestly, at that point, upon passing, she understood. So.
Okay, great.
Definitely. So thankfully, for most of family, fertility looks really good, and that's an issue that a lot of people deal with. But in this case, I'm not concerned. Interestingly, though, they are referencing that they are with a child that did not get to be born. Your grandmother's referencing to it. Your grandfather's referencing to it.
Okay.
Very strongly that they're with and have reconnected with a child that didn't get to be born. When they do that, that always acknowledges to me that that's a child that would have either been a stillborn or a miscarriage type of a situation.
Okay.
It's not for you, but it would be for someone else.
Okay.
And they're actually acknowledging that they're with this child. So whoever suffered that, I think that's more of a message to say, like, they're.
I have a lot of sisters, so that's.
Sure.
There could be some secrets in there that I don't know about. So.
Yeah.
You.
Okay, there's that. There's a lot coming in, so we're going to talk about it. So much of this is going to focus on family, but I'm just going to kind of go all across the board.
Okay.
Let me see where to even start. They're having me talk about mom for some reason, like your mother. Do you know of a situation where, like, a man died at, like, a really early age? Because they're having me highlight this person that was coming through that, for me, felt like they died, like, before they should have died. It's a situation more involving personal responsibility. It's not like a medical thing. It's not something that happens to someone naturally. So it's one of those situations where someone put themselves in a position and then something bad happened.
This is ridiculous. My father, I think he died of complications with drugs and whatnot. Does that make sense?
That does. It does.
Okay.
So it's that kind of feeling, and there's a feeling of like resolve with this, like I'm at peace with this.
Oh, okay.
But there was an understanding of how my actions kind of affected how my life went, and that was like the big thing that came through on the way here was like I'm aware of how basically the lifestyle that I lived put me in these positions that led to my death. Okay. And I felt like it was important for this to be relayed to other people. If there's people in your life that still don't have closure with how that necessarily went, that's his way of trying to say, hey, look, I know that my actions led to this. If I could have done it over, I would have done it a different way. The way that that came through was more so just to kind of let like the women know in the family primarily, like, I appreciate what you've done.
Got it.
But I also understand that, like I said, I put myself in some pretty tough situations.
My mom will trip on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's an awareness of that. So just please know, it felt like directed at mom, and that was kind of like the big thing. Is where it came through. So.
Okay.
I can't imagine what she went through, you know, raising me solo, and then having the father just jet. I can't believe that I didn't think of that. You know what I mean? She's my mom. I just figured, you know, she's so strong, but that must have been something else for her.
My mother had to move away from him because of the drug use and abuse, physical abuse. And then in high school, I started getting letters from him. Wow. And then I got really, really excited. And then one day I came from high school and my mother, I opened the door and my mother like saw me and gasped. And I thought she was laughing, but she actually was crying. And she said, he's dead, he's... I'd never seen any emotion from my mother speaking about my father. So I knew at that moment that he meant way more than I knew to her.
Well, I hope that helps them.
It does, man.
How do we talk about someone who actually passed away prematurely, or what we would kind of consider to be like before their time?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's for my mom.
And kind of making me not. Do you know of any female L names in the family? Like Linda or like Lynn?
My mom's mom is, I think her name was Luna.
Luna, okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was like, Linda, well, I'm not sure what this is, but it sounds like that. So yeah, female L name would be maternal grandmother.
I don't know her. I don't know what she looked like. I don't know if I'm anything like her.
Gotcha.
Like, I would love to know if there are things that I love that she loved too.
I love that. There's a lot of feelings of like her having to do a lot of things on her own when she shouldn't have had to. And so she would have really, from a very early age, kind of had to show resilience and show independence. And when I'm connecting to that side, there's this feeling around her, depression and anxiety. And I feel like this is something she very strongly would have dealt with. So there's a pride for you basically taking these steps to kind of be open about what you go through emotionally, mentally, and I feel like you'll have some kind of opportunities that allow you to kind of use your platform for that.
Wow.
And I think that awareness will make family very proud.
That's really
even
cool.
on the other side.
That's really, really cool.
I love that. That's awesome.
Mental health isn't something you necessarily want to talk about, mental health, addiction, but I feel comfortable sharing that I do struggle with these things.
Honestly, there's just a lot of feelings of like tragedy around her. Do you know if this was the case or if she had any?
What I do know about her is very little because it was tragic. She died in childbirth when my mom was very young. My mom was around 10. It was so painful for my mom when she passed away that like she just kind of like needed to set it aside. So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. She's like the strongest person I know.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I don't know why these details are coming through. It's the funniest thing. It's just because you're so open and picking up on tons of details. Well, two things. So there's reference to a couple of things. One, someone had a very bad experience with a dog. Someone might have been traumatized by dogs because it's like a dog attack or a dog thing where I feel like I'm terrified of dogs.
Bridget. That's my sister.
Okay, so we have that one. So weirdly, do you know if anyone has any military connections within family?
My dad was in the Coast Guard.
Okay, that would fit for me. So a couple different things are popping in. Oh, weird. Now, do you know who died of the heart-related issue? It would have been specifically, potentially like a valve-related problem. The way that this person's acknowledging is basically saying that, like, I know I have this problem, and then I feel like I pass of it. I don't feel like my electrical activity in my heart is functioning to the fullest extent. Almost looks like I'm having heart palpitations. Do you know where that would fit? Because I was even coming through on the way here.
That's my dad.
I'm sorry. The thing is he's acknowledging he was stubborn, and he's also talking about the fact that he was afraid. He's expressing an apology for his passing. It's not his fault that he died, but he's saying multiple people were very proactive in being like, you really should see a doctor, you should get a checkup, you know, go get this done.
We all went, all 4 of us, with my mother and separately, and told his doctor said he's a walking time bomb.
Right. Okay.
He knew he had the problem.
Right.
And he wouldn't get it fixed. And he wouldn't get the angioplasty because he was afraid.
Right.
And he was stubborn.
Yeah.
So you nailed it. And, you know, he was my best friend.
Yeah.
I lost my dad suddenly of a massive heart attack, and I was away filming. He just believed in me when things were really tough, so he always encouraged me to follow my dreams and my passion. And I still don't think that I have fully digested that he's gone.
He's tried to come through already, and that he's talking about an instant in which there was something to do with the smell. Now, this is kind of a weird thing. I don't know what this is, but he's referencing to being in a room, I can see it, and it's just coming through really, really, really strongly, and I feel like I'm in this room, and I just am smelling it.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
It makes total sense.
What happened?
After he died, I took 3 flights to get home and went straight upstairs and went to the medicine cabinet and opened up his cologne. And I put it all over me. And then I have a home store, and we made a candle and a spray named after him called Paul.
Wow.
And, yeah.
When he's coming through, the really overwhelming theme for him is that in his passing, he felt like he was devoted to his work, even to his own detriment. And even before he'd finish something, he'd be thinking of, well, what about the next one after?
That's exactly it.